My name is Amelia Williams. I've been married to Oliver for 20 years, and we started living with my mother-in-law right when we got married. We thought we'd have children soon, and it would surely make her happy to live with her grandchildren. However, despite having no issues in our marriage, there were no signs of pregnancy even after 3 or 4 years. By the 5th year, I finally embarked on fertility treatments. To our dismay, the tests revealed that the problem was with me, and no amount of treatment seemed to improve my condition. From that point on, the attitude of my mother-in-law grew harsher, and I was subjected to her cruel words daily. Oliver, a hard worker, refrained from discussing my situation, not wanting to worry him since he was already doing so much for our family. Since my husband was working hard for the family, I at least didn't want to burden him with worries about home matters. However, overworking led Oliver to fall ill, making it impossible for him to continue his job. He then started taking up remote work, but the income was barely enough to sustain our family. Oliver would often leave the house saying he had meetings or that he was going to work from the library with his laptop. Being home meant facing my mother-in-law's sarcasm, which made working difficult. That's what I believed was his reason for leaving. One day, during Oliver's absence, my mother-in-law said something I never expected to hear. "A new wife is coming, so take your trash and leave this house." I was so shocked by her sudden declaration that I couldn't grasp the meaning of her words, standing there dumbfounded. She pressed on, "Didn't you hear me? I said to take your trash and leave." "What do you mean?" "I mean, Oliver has a mistress. And she has a child with Oliver, so you're being replaced." "What? How is that possible?" "You really don't understand, do you? Oliver has been with his mistress for 15 years because you couldn't have children. They're practically a married couple, living in a common-law marriage." 15 years? "Yes, and she's a wonderful person named Sarah. I've met her several times, and I think she can manage well. I actually wanted Oliver to divorce you and remarry sooner, but for some reason, they hesitated. Your divorce was the stumbling block, but they've finally decided to marry, which puts my mind at ease." "They have a child? How old?" "Oh, you're interested now? She's in middle school, a beautiful girl. I wonder who she takes after. I was quite a beauty in my youth, so maybe it's from the Williams side. Girls are wonderful, aren't they? So many cute clothes and things to buy for them. We went to amusement parks and on trips together. It was fun. Plus, Sarah really cares for me. That's why she's perfect for Oliver," my mother-in-law said with a laugh. However, most of her words didn't register with me. Could it be true that they had such a relationship for 15 years? "I'll confirm this with Oliver." "Huh? It won't change the outcome even if you ask him. He said he didn't want to talk to you and asked me to tell you." "How could this be?" So, he's offloaded the entire discussion about our crucial divorce to his mother. "So get out right now. Here, sign the divorce papers and pack your bags," she said, tossing the divorce papers at me as if throwing them away. As I hesitated, my mother-in-law urged me to hurry. "Oliver will be much happier without a woman who can't have children like you. I want to live with my grandchildren. Hurry up." Pressured repeatedly to sign, I reluctantly picked up the pen and wrote my name. "All right, then, I'll submit this to the city hall. Hurry up and get your things in order." Tears threatened to fall as I realized I was being driven out without even a discussion, after 20 years of marriage. But crying here would only invite more unspeakable words from my mother-in-law. I entered the bedroom and began packing. As I did, memories of Oliver filled my mind. Before he fell ill, he earned a considerable salary. He used to give me frequent presents, all of them expensive. He gifted me brand-name bags, and jewelry like rings and necklaces were all worth tens of thousands of dollars. Some were even over $20,000. When I asked why he gave me such costly items, he said he didn't like his beloved wearing cheap things. Thanks to him, all my possessions were high-end brands. He was so kind. Such a generous person, and just because I couldn't have children, he found another woman. And he deceived me for 15 years. Moreover, my mother-in-law had been supporting this betrayal for 15 years. Yet, I had endured her terrible words. Realizing this, the gifts in my hands seemed to fade in color. The once beautiful jewels seemed to dull and turn to ash. Yet, I kept packing my bags, one item after another. However, my mother-in-law started complaining upon seeing me do this. "How long are you going to take? No matter how leisurely you are, leaving won't change. I don't want to be with you forever. Just pack your things and leave. Yes, yes. Don't leave any trash behind. It's a hassle to dispose of, you know. Really. Thinking of you leaving refreshes me. Now I can live with my grandchild." Overwhelmed by her words, I took out my phone and told my mother-in-law. "Then, I'll call right away." And dialed the waste disposal service. "Who did you call?" "The waste collection service." "Oh, right. You only have trash to throw away. It's best to get rid of things as soon as possible." When the service arrived, I directed them and handed over the box filled with the jewels Oliver had given me. "Please incinerate everything cleanly." Though it felt like a needle pricking my heart, I wanted to erase all memories associated with Oliver from this world. Then the service replied, "Understood," and took away my trash. With that, the trash disposal is done, so I'll be leaving now. Mother-in-law, thank you for everything. Take care. Ah, yes, yes. Just make sure I never see your face again. Ignoring my mother-in-law's final words, I left the house. After leaving the house, I sought refuge with my brother, who lives with his family. I needed to find a place to live immediately, but it was impossible to do so right away. Apologizing for the inconvenience, my brother welcomed me, saying it had been tough for me. And his wife told me to stay as long as I needed. The painful days seemed to melt away, starting a new chapter in my life. I hustled to find a new place to live and eventually signed a lease for a condo I liked. However, the night after deciding on my new home, Oliver contacted me. "Hey, when you leave the house, make sure to leave behind the stuff I gave you." No discussion about our divorce, and this is his first sentence. I sighed and informed him I had already left the house. "What? When did you leave? Didn't your mother tell you?" "She told me to leave the day I signed the divorce papers." "Where are you living now?" "I've moved back with my parents for now, but I'll be moving out soon. I found an ideal condo." "Is that so? Well, that's good. About the presents I gave you. I've already disposed of them." "What? Why would you do something like that?" "Wasn't it you who gave them to me? That means they were mine, right? So, isn't it my right to do what I want with them?" "That's ridiculous. Those were bought by me." "Yes, back when you still cared for me. You bought them for me, right?" "Knowing that, why would you dispose of them?" "Because I don't need memories of you. To find out you've been cheating for 15 years. Why would I cherish something from someone like that? You should have just left them behind." "I wanted to erase them from this world." "What have you done?" "If they were so important, why didn't you tell your mother? If I was told to leave them, I would have." "If they're not needed, you normally leave them behind." "Your mother told me to take all the trash with me. So, it seemed best to incinerate them. Isn't that right?" "That's completely wrong. Those were all expensive items. You incinerated them? Are you insane?" "Wouldn't it be insane not to, knowing I was betrayed? I believed in you, and you had a child with another woman. It's a wonder I'm sane now. Damn it, those were mine since I bought them." "That's a difference in values. I wouldn't ask for things back that I gave to you. So, I didn't touch your dresser." "I see. You really don't consider me at all. I endured everything from your mother, thinking of you. Even when she taunted me for not having children, even when I wanted your help, I bore it all. And you think I didn't consider you? If you considered me, you could have left my gifts behind. I was planning to sell them." "Huh? What do you mean?" "Even if I'm getting married to her, we have a life to live, so we need money, right? Up until now, we weren't married, so I didn't have to think about it much, but going forward, it's not going to be that easy. Of course. You're getting married, and she has a middle school child, too. It's going to cost money. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was planning to turn those jewels into cash. That would have brought in a significant amount. I bet. It would have been around $100,000. And you burned all that money? Yes, I did. But it was mine to do with as I pleased. After all the trouble, I went to gift them to you. But in return, I endured 15 years. Unaware of the betrayal. But I provided for you. You could eat without working because I was working. You were hardly ever home. I might not have been home, but I was working. That's why you could eat. I was putting money into the house every month. You have no right to complain. Listen. What? As much as I hate to say it, you only provided for the first 5 years. After finding out I couldn't have children, not once did I receive any living expenses from you. What? No, that's not true. I was giving it to Mom. I wouldn't know about that. I was depositing it into Mom's account every month. Is that so? But I never received it. Then how were you living? By working myself. What? You were working? I never heard about that. I didn't say anything about it. No, Mom never mentioned it either. She said you were always facing the computer at home. Didn't know what you were doing, probably just playing around. That's not true. Seeing you doing contract work, I thought maybe I could do something similar, so I started working from home. Initially, it wasn't much, but it was enough for Mom and me to get by. Is that so? Then where did my money go? I don't know. Maybe your mom has it? You were depositing it into her account, right? Yeah, but Mom says she doesn't know anything about it. Is that so? I don't know either. You're saying you don't know, but you're using my money, aren't you? I really don't know. That doesn't make sense. Mom doesn't know either. But I was providing for both of your living expenses. How much were you giving? $600 a month. $600? That's barely enough for living expenses. That sounds more like pocket money for your mom. She probably thought her son was giving her an allowance. Good for you, being so filial. That's ridiculous. I told her it was for living expenses. Things like that happen. A misunderstanding. But no matter how much you insist, I don't know. That's $600 a month for 15 years is $108,000. I don't know anything about that. And if it was for living expenses, then that's fine, isn't it? Yeah, but I gave you presents worth $100,000. Plus, the $600 a month totaling $108,000. That's over $200,000 in total. With that, we could have lived comfortably for a while. Even if you transferred $600 from your earnings, you still had the rest of your money, right? You must have saved it, so you shouldn't be in trouble. But still, you have contract work, so it should be fine. I don't know about your income, but you must have enough to support your family properly. There's no need to make such a fuss. That's the thing. I don't. What? I've been taking contract work, but recently, I haven't been getting any jobs at all. Really? But you have savings, right? That too, whenever my daughter wants something, I end up buying it. Being a girl, she wants cute clothes, accessories, it all costs a lot of money. You could just say no. How could I say that? It'd be too pitiful. She needs money to hang out with her friends. If I didn't buy her what she wanted and she got bullied for it, what would I do? When she says all her friends have it, I have no choice but to buy it. Wow. And she's quite demanding. She's your daughter, isn't she? That's exactly why. She's so cute. But then my wife noticed my daughter's belongings and wondered how I had so much money. I've been dodging the question. As time went on, my daughter became accustomed to not living without money. If I say I can't buy something, she throws a fit. Wow, so it's really just reaping what you sow, huh? To give that child a decent life, I need money. Then you should work. I would if jobs were coming in. Maybe you're not trying hard enough? I am trying. Plus, I have the skills. It's weird that jobs aren't coming in. Oh, really? Man, what should I do? I've spent so much on my daughter, I don't have any savings left. My wife's going to be furious if she finds out. You've been practically married for 15 years, it should be fine. She thinks I'm rich. Why would she think that? Because I gave them presents. Whenever a little money came in, I'd buy something for my daughter and wife. Then you should sell those presents. You gave them expensive stuff, right? No way! She'd definitely hate that. That's why I thought about converting the presents I gave you into cash. You could have just left a message with your mother about that. It's bad that you let her handle the divorce talk. Now I might get divorced after all this effort to get married. Oh, you've already registered the marriage? Yeah, right after the divorce was finalized. If you loved her that much, why didn't you marry her for 15 years? I wanted to be free. I thought getting married would mean a lot of expenses, and I'd lose my financial freedom. Well, you can be free again, so that's good, isn't it? I suppose so. Looks like things are settled then. I've got to prepare for moving. Reflecting on Oliver's absurd story, I realized it was good to have divorced such a man. After moving, my apartment filled with things I enjoy became a comfortable space. I thought I could live freely without being disturbed by anyone. However, 2 months after talking to Oliver, he contacted me again. I'm going to get divorced at this rate. The moment I pressed the answer button, I heard Oliver's desperate voice. Wait, haven't you already divorced? You said you'd be free if you divorced. If I divorce, who will take care of me when I'm sick? What do you mean? Actually, my illness has gotten worse. Illness? You mean from overworking, right? That's why you quit your job. It's not like that. In these past 15 years, I got diabetes and I couldn't bring myself to tell her, so I just kept eating whatever she cooked. And I used to eat sweets a lot with my daughter too. Then my condition got worse. Well, that makes sense. So I thought, if I got married, I'd have a child, and eventually someone to take care of me. That's selfish. Because she's a girl and I bought her lots of stuff, and she'd say she loves Daddy so much. I thought for sure she'd take good care of me. Is that why you left me? Staying with you, I might end up outliving you. What then? I'd be left alone, right? It just makes more sense to be with someone who has a child. How could you say that? Children are supposed to take care of their parents, right? But then, it got out that I didn't have any savings. It's not a big deal if you don't have savings. You can start saving now. That's the thing, my wife was working, but she quit her job right after we got married, counting on my income. When I asked why she quit, she said it was her dream to be a stay-at-home mom, and I couldn't say anything more. Well, why don't you ask your mother for help? She must have quite a bit of savings. The thing is, my wife and her don't get along. Oh, and here you were, always praising your new wife. Once we started living together, flaws became apparent. They fight every day. My mom complains about everything my wife does, and it's just constant nagging. And recently, my mom fell for a scam. She didn't tell the family, so a lot of money was lost. My wife said to her, "For all the complaining you do, how could you be so foolish to fall for a scam?" And that just made things worse. Well, I can imagine your proud mother-in-law getting angry about that. So if I bring up the money issue, she'll start yelling at me like crazy. I see. So, could you possibly help me out a bit? Why would you ask me that, after we've divorced? If you hadn't burned that gift, none of this would have happened. Showing that we have money would have reassured my wife. Oh, so it's that kind of marriage. You're working too, so you must have some savings, right? Come on, lend me $90,000. I was supporting my mother-in-law, you know? There's no way I have that kind of money. Then waive the alimony. What? You cheat and now you want alimony waived? Can you please limit your stupidity? If things stay this way, even my wife will demand alimony. And since we have a child, she'll ask for child support too. She's very strict about money, she'll never forgive me. You chose to marry her, that's on you. That's too harsh. After 15 years of betrayal, what now? What am I supposed to do? Can't you work from home without too much trouble? I'm sick, you know. I'm a stranger, you know. Please, I'm begging you to help me. No matter how much he begs for help, there's no way I'd actually want to help. Why should I help a man who has been betraying me for 15 years and decided to leave his long-term wife just to save himself? I can't understand it at all. And then, he has the audacity to ask for $90,000 or to have the alimony waived. The fact that he can so casually suggest such insane ideas makes me think he must be desperate, but I still don't feel like helping. So, I thought I made it clear that I refused, but then, a month later, I got another call from Oliver. Ah, long time no see. Are you and your family living peacefully now? No, far from it. Did you move? Yes, of course I did. Where are you now? Huh? I was just wondering where you moved to. Oh, to an apartment. With an apartment, you must have plenty of rooms, right? Yes, it does feel quite spacious for just me. Why did you rent such a place? I didn't rent it, I bought it. I figured if I'm gonna buy something, might as well get something spacious. You bought it? Yes. It's not that surprising, is it? Where is it? Give me your address. Why do I have to tell you? Well, I actually got divorced. Oh, you finally did it. Yeah. I tried to work, but the pay was so low for everything available, and I was like, I can't do this, and stopped taking those jobs. Then, my wife started asking why I wasn't working. I told her I was trying to work, but just thinking about it doesn't count, and she called me a NET. We had a huge fight. Then she took our daughter and left. When I realized what was happening, the divorce papers were on the table. Huh, your wife really went through with it. I had come out to her about my illness. I told her I couldn't work easily because of it. But she said everyone works even with diabetes, calling my condition just laziness. Hit the nail on the head. You too, huh? It's the truth. Before our big fight, I said I wanted her to stay with me forever because I'm sick. She used to say she'd always be there for me. And to get so angry over a little unemployment. Wishing someone to stay with you because you're sick. That's selfish. But being left alone when I'm sick is just too hard. I chose her because she had a child, thinking if I became too ill to care for myself, it'd be less of a burden. But being left defeats the purpose of getting divorced. And then she took our child and left, which is just too cruel. Children and wives aren't just there for you, you know. I get that, but with complications coming up, who knows how much it will cost? I could go blind or not be able to walk. It's scary to face that alone. Yeah, I guess. With hospital bills and living expenses, if I had a wife, I could have relied on her. Now she's gone, how am I supposed to pay for the hospital or who will cook for me? You could cook for yourself. Do you think I can do that? Oh dear. That's when I realized. Maybe I made a huge mistake. Oh? What mistake? Divorcing you. If I hadn't left you, I wouldn't be facing these uncertainties. Plus, you're working, so money wouldn't be an issue. But I was foolish to marry that woman just because she had a child. That's not true. You made the best choice. Thanks to that decision, I was able to escape a future of suffering because of you. Really, thank you. Come on, please help me. After that, I decided to hit Oliver with the consequences of his selfishness by demanding alimony. Then, like it was coordinated, Sarah, his wife, also demanded alimony and child support from him. Facing a double bind, Oliver protested that he couldn't pay, but was told by his wife to borrow the money if necessary, which led to him incurring a substantial debt. This situation significantly exacerbated his mental distress and worsened his medical condition. Despite his need for hospitalization, the lack of funds made this impossible, and upon seeking assistance from his mother, he found her patience exhausted, leading to her departure as well. Oliver, without money for hospital bills or medication, couldn't take his meds and kept contacting me, saying he might die if things continue this way.
I feel so lonely and anxious. What if I go blind? My legs cramp up at night. It hurts so bad, maybe my condition is getting worse.
It was truly a parade of complaints. But his situation is entirely of his own making. Eventually, I heard he started working part-time at a convenience store. When I went to see how he was doing, there was Oliver, skinny as a ghost, standing behind the register. Considering he tried to use his family for his own benefit, this seems like a fitting outcome. As for me, I ended up not receiving any alimony. He was my husband for 20 years, after all. I couldn't force him to pay when he said he was sick. But I have my job. We're in the same line of work, but I have more work than I can handle. Thanks to that, my life is quite comfortable. Now, I live elegantly in an apartment with a dog. I'm trying to stay healthy for as long as this dog lives.